Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. It is a Saturday morning that you're watching this. Remember, no video on Sunday. We have a lot to cover, as we always do, because this is just never-ending drama saga. Oh my goodness, there's so much. Let's just go. I'm starting off with this photo that was taken at the races of Camilla and Zara together because I just love it. I think it's a really sweet photo. Okay, moving on. And talking about the Cheltenham Festival, Princess Anne and her husband Tim Lawrence were seen walking around there. I love her jacket. I love her hat. They're such a cute couple. Next up, we have Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh. He held a Nigerian National Award Operators Board meeting with board members in Nigeria via video link this morning. Thank you to Royal Instablog for this information. He also visited that country in 2020. Well, it's being reported that Prince William earlier in the day went on a quote-unquote private secret trip to see Aston Villa in training. That happens to be his favorite football team. Looking good, William. I'm glad that's your favorite team. All right, moving on. The choir of Rockland School went to the cathedral. They did some singing. The Duke and Duchess of Gloucester was there because the Duchess is the patron of the Cathedral Music Trust. Children did a fabulous job. Way to go. Here we go. Princess Catherine went to her first St. Patrick's Day parade since she took over as Colonel of the Irish Guards. Prince William was there. Of course, she took it from him, and she made a joke while she was talking about how he'll once again fail to finish a pint of Guinness. Oh, sounds like she threw the gauntlet down. She wore teal. I have to be honest, I'm not loving the color. Not that it doesn't look good on her. The color, yeah, okay. She also wore a shamrock brooch, which is a piece that belongs to the Irish Guards and is loaned to the royal women that are associated with the regiment. Princess Anne had worn that brooch before, and so had the Queen Mother. They both gave speeches. William gave a very nice a farewell speech. It's right here. You can freeze the screen and look at it if you want. And Catherine spoke about what an honor it was becoming Colonel Catherine. Very nice. Now, this is Catherine's second outing with the Irish Guards since she became the colonel of the regiment, because remember, I showed you pictures of her sporting camo when they were doing exercises last week. Now, Catherine took part in the traditional distribution of the shamrock sprigs, which the guards pinned to their tunics, and she got a sprig of the Irish bloom on the regimental mascot, the Irish wolfhound, I hope I say this right, Turlough Mar, who is known as Seamus. There was a parade, and it ended with the royal salute and people doing the three shouts, hip, hip, and they were holding up their hats. It was very nice. When that was done, Catherine and William then met a group of veterans from the Irish Guard Association, and then Catherine inspected the front rank and William inspected the second rank. Now, after the inspection, they sat for the official officers and sergeants' mess photographs before they retired to the dining hall with the junior ranks. So when all of that was over, Catherine and William went in and met with the members of the Irish Guards. They each got a glass of Guinness. They held it up, they toasted, and they started drinking. That must be some good stuff, because William looks like he's really enjoying himself. I wonder if he finished his beer. I wonder if she finished hers. Moving on. Next up, they're saying that Charles's decision to remove Frogmore Cottage has seen the British public become more enamored with him. They see that he's dealing with a very difficult time, and Harry seems to be quote unquote disconnected from the hardships that a lot of Britons are facing. Heat or eat. We've already had this discussion. He's just spending money right and left. And, the house is sitting empty. They're never using it. And, Harry and Meghan continue to use the media to try to boost their wealth and get public sympathy. And it's backfired spectacularly. They saying that he's acting with sensitivity to the public and that, he's going from strength to strength. People are really backing him. Love it. All right. Now, at the same time, word is out that the reason they were evicted was because of William and Kate. They wanted to ensure their privacy. They wanted to ensure the safety of their children. Now that everybody is aware about how much drugs Harry uses, like on a daily basis, and the fact that he's made comments about the Windsor children and they need to be protected, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no wonder they want them off of the property. They could be a danger. Can you blame him? Harry's like off the rails. You guys know what I'm saying. All right, moving on. They're saying that a new detail has come out that the UK, the government, is going to spend a lot of money, but they're going to be erecting big screens at 30 locations across the UK so that the public can sit together and watch the coronation. It's the top 10 largest urban areas by population. In England, as well as in Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, they have been offered cash by the Department of Culture, Media, and Sports to set up the screens to allow people to watch. Pretty cool. All right, we have some more information from Neil Sean. Apparently, Harry and Meghan are very upset because Madame Trousseau moved their statues into the celebrity corner. They felt that since the children had royal titles, they should be moved back to the royalty section. What did I tell you? They're going on the coattails of the kids. Wow. All right, here we go. One of Harry's multiple cases with the law. His attorneys told a London court that the Associated newspaper didn't have a defense to Harry's libel claim over the article about his security arrangements, and he's trying to get the judge to rule without having to go to court. Now, what happened was he sued because the Mail on Sunday put out an article that he offered to pay for police protection only after he brought a separate legal fight against Britain's government. The article said that Harry tried to keep the details under wraps, and this was all because the stuff was withdrawn when he stepped down. And London's High Court ruled in July that the Mail report, which accused Harry of attempting to mislead the public, was defamatory. Therefore, he could go forward with the case. This will be interesting to see how this comes out. The newspaper, however, is fighting back, saying that his wanting to win the case without a trial was without merit. Now, he's got another case coming up. There's more. Now, apparently, Harry wrote to the Queen's private secretary and said until he and Meghan started earning money, he couldn't afford the private security. But considering the fact that Charles was giving them millions like every month for a year, I find that hard to believe. And for those of you who may have forgotten, this lawsuit has cost the UK taxpayer over £550,000, with the cost still rising. And he's asking for extra security while he's in the UK, again, at the cost of the taxpayer. What an entitled prat. It also appears that A&L is using, as part of its defense, tweets by Omid Scobie, who we all know is their mouthpiece. And I have to agree with this Twitter user. It's pretty obvious Harry lied and misled the public by planting the stories. So, he really didn't offer to pay for security until the review was underway. Harry filed a case along with Elton John and some others against the Associated newspapers, claiming there was wiretapping and privacy breaches. And in May, his suit against the Daily Mirror over accusations of phone hacking is going to go to trial with Harry giving evidence. So, of course, the news had something to say about this. Listen to this.
It's huge, and it could be some great theatre. So this is taking place in May, and this is a case against the Mirror newspaper group, and it is believed that Prince Harry himself will take the stand in the High Court. He'll be the first ever senior member of the royal family to actually take the stand in the High Court. So historic in itself. He is going to state his belief that from the age of 12 that he was targeted by the organisation, which for much of the time Piers ran, that involved unlawful information gathering. So basically tapping phones, accessing computers, doing all sorts of nefarious things to get information and or photographs to make for a story. And Prince Harry believes he was the victim of this from the age of 12. Now, interestingly, this does come, the case will start only 3 days after the coronation. So that might give you a hint as to whether Prince Harry is going to be in London or not for the coronation. It'd be very hard to think you couldn't attend that and not that. So this case will be quite a fascinating one. Piers Morgan has said on the record in the past, in a very carefully worded statement, that he never asked anybody to phone tap, and he never knew of anybody who was phone tapping. So that will probably be what he will take to the stand and say. Now, the bottom line is he may not himself actually take the stand. It may only be Prince Harry and other people, but no doubt it's going to make for an extraordinary few days of viewing.
You know, Harry can file a lawsuit all he wants, but he better have some proof. And of course, we know why this is really going on. He hates Piers Morgan, right? He's going to try to drag Piers down. I don't think he's going to win. All right, let's move on. You know, interestingly enough, from the article earlier where I told you where Harry's out of touch with the common people, here's a good example. $1,600 for a salad. But hey, it's the Beverly Hills, you know, where the big stars used to eat. Moving on. Next up, this came up, I told you yesterday, that Meghan was contributing a recipe to a book that somebody else is doing. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. She's giving one recipe for somebody else's project, and she makes it look like the entire thing is her project. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all her. This is her PR putting out these articles. Look what it says at the top. Meghan Markle has unveiled her next project. It's not her project. And it's because of that kind of behavior that you've got stuff like this. Their popularity has sunk on both sides of the Atlantic to an all-time low, but it's even worse in the United States. The last polling which was done points to such a low amount of support. Their approval ratings have gone through the floor. Even worse in the United States than in the UK. The poll, by the way, done on February 19th shows that 42% of Americans dislike him. And he has now dropped 48 points in the UK since December. Yep. Now, this is where things get interesting. Harry and Meghan, it's being reported, are now negotiating the terms of their attendance at the coronation. They have some requests. Number one, they want security. Okay, that's kind of stupid, because there's going to be so much royalty there and so much security, they don't need anything extra, okay? Number two, they want an invitation for the kids. They have to get the money shots of the kids with the royals, because if they don't do that, then what's the point? Number three, they want to know whether they're going to be invited to the other events. They need to be seen, you know, with at other things that are happening with the royal family, which would be also, you know, balcony, etc. Number four, one of the big demands, they want some kind of a celebration or acknowledgement in the coronation day plans that have something to do with Archie's 4th birthday, so he won't get lost in the momentous day. Yes, Prince Charles, who's being made king, well, he's already king, but having this, you know, having all this go again, Prince Charles is supposed to factor Archie's 4th birthday into his special day. I mean, you couldn't make it up. Even Tessa Dunlap, who I'm not crazy about, even she said it's going to hinge on if the kids get an invitation. I got to be honest, at this point, if I were King Charles, I would not bend. I'm still like, the kids aren't coming. You're not going to be on the balcony. If you can't live with it, then don't come. And talking about security, just throwing this out there, Harry said that he doesn't think he can bring his kids to the homeland because it's not safe. But I agree with this Twitter user, but he's living in the only country where guns are the leading cause of death for children. He's living in a country where everybody owns a gun, and he's worried about the UK. Now, in our final story, it's come out that Charles is going to try to stop Archie from getting the Duke of Sussex title, from having it passed down to him. And the precedent that he's using is what he did with Prince Edward. When Prince Edward is no longer the Duke of Edinburgh, when he passes away, the title returns to the monarch. So it's not going to pass down to his son. So he's attempting to do the same thing with Archie. All right, you guys, you know what I want. Drop those comments and make them good. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell. If you've already hit it, double check and make sure you have not been unsubscribed. Don't forget to go up into the description box and you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, the mailing address if there's something you want to send. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund or through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.